You can pet your gun. You can pet your gun. 10 out of 10 game. Hey, Dragon here, and Ripout is an intriguing game, both visually and in gameplay. This game takes a lot of influence from classic sci-fi sources, whether it's John Carpenter's The Thing, Halo's Flood, Doom 3's Metallic Corridors, or Killing Floor 1's squad-based gameplay. This game caught my interest a long time ago. I've been following the devs ever since. It's just so weird, and I love that in games. They were going for an atmospheric, almost survival horror style of game, and in that aspect, they nailed the design.
No, they just go to the closest enemy. Huh.
Holy fuck!
That was lighting is directional, leaving harsh shadows. There's always creepy ambience happening in the background. As you're walking through this spaceship, vents may or may not open, and there may or may not be enemies behind them. Everything is designed to keep you on your toes, and that goes right down to the bizarre designs of the creatures and yourself. This game takes place in the future, if you couldn't tell. Humans are a spacefaring species, and as humans do, they started a war. In an attempt to get the leg up on one another, they started trying to create mutant soldiers. Well, as you could have predicted, this got out of hand. This mutation quickly took over. And when I say took over, I mean really took over. It could take over anything, even a chair. What's worth noting is that you got the mutation that didn't fail. Getting into this universe will set you back about $25. And that seems okay. I'm not offended by the price, but it doesn't seem like an amazing deal. But you know what is an amazing deal? Into the AM's Black Friday sale. Into the AM is today's sponsor, and this sale is going to give you 30 to 80% off until next Friday, November 30th. The sale is live right now. If you don't know who Into the AM are, they are a clothing company. They sell pants, hoodies, shirts, anything. But their flagship product are their graphic tees, like what I'm wearing right now. This is the one I've had for, I don't know, a year or so. It's my favorite one they make. It matches my colors. I just like it. It's also really comfortable and fits me well. It's hard to find a shirt that actually fits me well. Shirts aren't made for people that have broad shoulders and somewhat short torsos, but also long arms, and I hate shopping for clothes. You might know someone that feels the same way, or you may feel the same way, so this could be a good Christmas gift. According to my analytics, a lot of my viewers are about in the 30s range, and that's when you start appreciating clothes for Christmas. To be fair though, if you get a good looking shirt, I don't think anyone's going to be too upset about that, and these shirts do look really cool. Lots of unique designs. What's even better is that if you go to my link, intotheam.com/dragonshirts, you can get 10% off, and that stacks on top of the Black Friday sale. So huge thanks to Into the AM for sponsoring this video. Check that link down below in the video information if you are interested. And now let's talk about Ripout. Let's begin with the core gameplay loop of Ripout. You will spawn in your spaceship. From here you can go to the front and choose the sector. Choosing this sector will allow you to choose different missions on the pad behind you. Something really important to mention, because this is not explained anywhere, you will need to complete a certain amount of quests, but also complete a certain amount of missions. What they don't explain is the difference between quests and missions. This confused me for a little bit because the missions will be different colors. The one that's selected is yellow. The main story quests are blue, and all the optional missions are green. However, if there's only 2 objective quest missions, one of them will be yellow, one will be blue, and the rest will be green. So then if you're like me, you'll go, which one of these are quests? Yeah, it's the blue ones. Those are the quests. It's not actually complicated, this just isn't explained anywhere. In order to gain access to the next section, you'll need to do a certain amount of these blue main quests, and then you can do however many missions you want to. It doesn't really matter from then on out. In this ship is where your friends can also join you, and a huge plus to this game is how easy it is to join your friends. You don't have to do anything in-game, you just join them off Steam. That's it. Anyway, once you have your friends and you selected the mission, you can jump into the spaceship and this will launch the level. Here is where I'll explain your gun pet. This is by far the most unique thing about this game, and oh my god, I love it. I don't know what it is about living guns that I like so much. I blame opposing force for this, but by holding down the scan button, you can scan your environment, looking at an enemy will highlight it, and then you can tell your gun pet to attack. This will stun the enemy and do a ton of damage. All this time you can shoot at it with your secondary. But what's even better is that if your co-op buddies launch their gun pets at the same time, this basically insta-kills even the strongest enemies. It's so satisfying. Now there is a cooldown, so you do have to kind of work with your teammates and make sure you have your gun pets ready at all times. Of course, outside of that, your gun pet just works like a gun. And if you press P, you can pet it. The reloading animations are also pretty interesting. All of it's interesting. I just love this thing. Not only do you have your gun pet, but you also have critters running throughout the map. If you scan a critter and throw your gun pet at it, you will grab it and put it on your shoulder. This is a limited time use upgrade. These can do a bunch of different things. It may launch a sticky web at the enemy to stun it, you may be able to heal yourself and your teammates, you may get one that gives you a shield, or my personal favorite, just a giant arm. Almost looks like the darkness. It's just a melee thing, does a lot of damage. I'll explain why this is my favorite in a bit. These guys have a lot of personality too, running throughout the map. Almost adorable in a way. Usually these are harmless, but the arm ones can be bastards though. I'm gonna go with Leech Pet though.
Yeah. Fucking stop! Just so many of them attacking me.
What's really interesting about these critters is that they can also jump onto enemies and give them boosts. I think the most unique upgrade is that if one of the arm ones jumps on the enemy, you can't throw your gun pet on that enemy. The arm will grab it and chuck it back off. The enemies themselves are grotesque, disgusting, and I just love these designs. They're so damn weird. They range from mutant zombie looking things to giant hulking creatures that can have up to 3 different critters on them. Your objective and goals on these missions will change per mission. Usually the end result is just go press E here or go destroy this. To be honest, I didn't even really pay attention to the journals or the text on screen, it just was an excuse to get back into the spaceship. When you're going throughout these levels, you will find upgrades. These are temporary and will last only throughout that level. If I do have one complaint, it's that these upgrades are not very interesting. Most of them are just do more damage with your gun pad or reload faster. Occasionally you'll find one that's really fun, like for example, your pet will now attack 2 different enemies instead of just one when you launch it. And then maybe you find another upgrade that will have your pet explode after attacking an enemy, so you get 2 explosions with 1 throw. I think the game needs more upgrades like this that genuinely changes the gameplay, because that's really fun. Still though, you will search for these upgrades because they make a big difference. When you complete that mission, you'll go back to your ship, which serves as a hub. What I neglected to mention is that when you're choosing a mission, you can see the rewards you will get. When you go back to the ship, you can choose to purchase these rewards. There's different crafting sources, but really you just kind of vacuum everything up on levels and you'll have more than enough. These resources are shared between your teammates. The only thing that is not is health and ammo. Trust me when I say you'll have more than enough to buy what you want. If you don't, you'll definitely have more than enough to buy it by the next level. Anyway, here you can buy new guns, new mods, new secondaries, and pieces of armor. Your armor does change how you look and will change your stats. Maybe enemies will do less damage to you, or maybe you'll do more damage to them, things like that. Your secondaries are exactly what it sounds like, just a pistol. Though in my case, I only found a regular pistol and a revolver, and I think that's the only secondaries in the game right now. There definitely needs to be more. Once you unlock the revolver, you're never going to use the default pistol ever again. Your main weapons are variations of your gun pet. You can have an assault rifle, you can have a long rifle, you can have a flamethrower, you can have a shotgun. This changes how you'll play the game, but I do think they don't look different enough. Like, obviously they're not all exactly the same, but they're pretty close. My personal go-to was the shotgun. I saw some reviews saying this thing was underpowered on launch, and I think they might have buffed it a bit too much. This thing is ridiculous now, as long as you treat it like the Doom 3 shotgun. It has little range, although when you do aim, the pellet spread gets tighter. My setup is that I added mods like doing more damage with your gun pet, doing more crit damage, doing acid damage, stuff like that. Crit damage for the shotgun can happen per pellet. This gets ridiculous. And remember when I said that arm critter is my favorite one? That's because I was using the shotgun a lot. You see, when you attack an enemy with this arm critter, it will knock them backward. You do need to get into their face to use the shotgun, however if they can kill you, that's kind of a bit of a risk. This arm critter though just completely negates that. You can just solo the heaviest enemies in the game, and it is really rewarding. If you go to the second floor of the ship, you can gamble away all your gold. Yeah, so this will give you something totally random, and every time you put gold into it, the price will go up. And that's it, that's basically the gameplay loop. Every time you get into a new sector, you'll get stronger enemies and slightly different variations of the world, but yeah. There it is. If that's satisfying to you, then you'll probably like this game. With all of that said, I have some pretty big complaints. The core concept of this game really seems like it wants to be an experience like the original Killing Floor. And by that I mean it wants to be sort of a survival horror experience where it feels like you're the one being hunted. You need to work as a team or you're going to die. Ripout doesn't feel like this. The game is way too easy. Now again, I saw some launch reviews that said the total opposite. It was too hard at times, but even on hard mode, I could solo basically everything. I think they patched it and reduced the difficulty, but they way overdid it, and this is a really big problem for a game like this. Yes, the visuals and the audio and all of this stuff is fantastic when it comes to atmosphere, but none of that really means anything if enemies just aren't a threat to you. It's hard to be afraid of anything when the moment they pop out, you can just shotgun them. Where have I heard that before? The game is also supposed to scale with the amount of people you have in a lobby, but it didn't feel any harder with 3 people. If anything, it felt easier. In fact, the biggest threats in the game aren't even the enemies, it's just random steam that you didn't see. Or these stupid freaking black hole things. These things are like landmines that spawn a black hole, they're hard to see, and you'll frequently get hit by them. They don't actually seem to do a ton of damage, despite what's on screen telling you the total opposite. Like seriously, there's so much screen shake for what's actually going on. Either way, I think these need to be a little more visible. They're just annoying in general, even if it is really funny when your friends run into them.
I'm like less than 20 shots left.
Ah!
Black hole! Black hole! Another black hole!
Another mildly funny thing I can say about this game is that you bend entirely at your upper torso when you look up and down in co-op. It's just like Doom 3 co-op.
That looks so odd. Like, look. His body is bent so weird.
Yeah, you...
It's so funny.
Croc. Pelvic thrust.
Why is that so entertaining?
And sometimes zombies getting off the ground do this thing.
That's an hostile.
What the? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, those are less complaints and more features. But what's less of a feature is that sometimes this game can feel a bit repetitive. You select your mission, you know what rewards you want, you go into the level, they all look pretty similar, you get it done doing the same objectives, you go back to your spaceship, you get your rewards, rinse and repeat. Now the base gameplay is fun, but I don't think there's enough content actually changing up your gameplay to make this a rewarding loop. There were definitely times I was getting into the game and enjoying it, but something is missing. The downtime was perfect for dumb puns though.
Sorry about that. Forgot I put my alarm on.
You could say you were alarmed.
I'm too tired. I'm a bike.
You're a bike?
I'm too tired.
I hate you so much. Yeah, so that's Ripout. It's a game I think is worth playing just because it's so weird and bizarre, and I love the designs, and the gunpad is the best thing I've seen in a long time. With that said, they really got to figure the difficulty out. If people were complaining that it was too hard on launch, and now I'm saying it's way too easy, which is almost an even worse issue for a game like this, once that balances out, I think the game will be really fun. Because I can overlook the repetition, this is an early access game, and more content is coming. They do have a roadmap. But the difficulty thing is something I can't overlook, and that's a big reason why it can feel so boring at times. Nothing is threatening you, so the atmosphere is thrown out the window. It's just set dressing at that point. Once this gets balanced in, it's a 10 out of 10 recommendation. Extremely good proof of concept. I really like what it is. It should get there soon. Hey, huge thanks to Into the Am for sponsoring this video. Again, Black Friday sale, 30 to 80% off. Get an extra 10% off when going to intotheam.com/dragonshirts. Link down below in the video info. Huge thanks to my YouTube members right over there. They get to see my videos at least a week early, and it means a lot to me. I see your comments, YouTube members. I heart them when I can. I also love talking to you guys over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Jarek4GamingDragon, and thank everyone here for watching this video.